Hey there, art friends. How are you guys doing? I was coming down here to try and figure out what in the world I wanted to do with you guys today. And my thought is I just did a little bit of work back here to kind of rearrange things. And I've got like some of my paintings up here that I didn't have hung up before. And I'm really liking that. But like this guy over here, I haven't put any new watercolor paintings up here in a while, so I thought it would be fun to just pull up my watercolors and play with them and get something nice and springy and new for up in this little guy. This is actually kind of a cool little frame. It's meant for like kids artwork, but it opens up and I can just put new ones in on top and all of the old ones stay underneath here. So I really like this, and it's been really great to just kind of keep a lot of my artwork in. So anyway, without further ado, I am going to use some of my Arches watercolor paper here. This is a hot pressed watercolor paper, and I'm thinking about doing some kind of floral design on there. So why don't you get your stuff out, make yourself a nice drink, and pull out some art supplies and paint along with me. I have a couple of palettes here. I have this little palette that is a bunch of watercolor paints that I put together. It has some Arteza, some Winsor & Newton, some Daniel Smith, and AS. I don't remember what the AS stands for. I also have this Arteza 24 color palette that is all metallics, shimmeries. I am not 100% sure if I'm going to use this or not, but I do have it here just in case I feel like adding some shimmery colors in there. I don't have a lot of experience with this, so I am kind of doing this for the first time for realsies right in front of you guys, and you're probably thinking that's crazy, and yeah, maybe it is a little bit crazy, but I want to show people like, hey, look, you know, this might be a little bit scary, but it's just art supplies. If it turns out, that's awesome. If it doesn't, you know, I tried something and had a little bit of fun. I'm just mixing up some kind of a pinkish color, I guess, over here. And I guess we'll just kind of get right into it. The flowers that I have lots and lots of petals, so I'm not quite sure how to do them just yet, but I'm just going to kind of start to like throw some petals in here, and then I will come back in and do more layers of petals afterwards, and we'll just kind of do a number of layers and maybe kind of get a little bit darker as it goes in a little bit further. That seems to kind of make sense with the flower that I'm seeing here. I don't know what kind of tree this is. I kind of wish I did. I didn't take a picture of the type of tree that it is. It kind of makes me think dogwood. I don't know my flowering trees really well. Flowering trees, I think this was... Now, I wanted to say that I thought maybe it was a fruit tree, but I think that is actually not true. I think this is just a really pretty flowering tree that I took a picture of because I just thought the flowers were really pretty, and I thought it would make a nice painting at some point in my future, and apparently I was right, because I'm painting this now, obviously. I want to play a little bit with kind of some of the bleeding effects, get some of the paint moving around. I might as well do a little bit of playing here and see what I can do. I'm going to make this a little bit darker red and put some more petals in the middle here. Just try and give the illusion that there's layers of petals on this, because that's what I'm seeing in the picture there. I'm seeing kind of some darker bits in the middle there, so I put like a little bit of yellow because it's kind of got that yellowy, you know, stamen and pistil stuff in the middle there. So I'm just going to keep going here, kind of continue to put some flowers down. Some of them are going to be a little bit lighter than others. And just kind of see where we get with this. I think I would like to add a little bit of a purplish color into some of these, just for, you know, some variation. As you can see, I'm trying hard to do like different sizes in here too, so that we don't just have a whole bunch of just one size, because that gets boring too if they all look the same. Nobody wants to, you know, that's just not fun to look at. You guys can see I keep loading up my brush with more pigment each time, just because I really want to get a little bit more of a pigment load on this. And it's just kind of a light color, so I just want to make sure I've got enough on there so it kind of shows up. I think that's probably okay. I'm really kind of just using my brush as a bit of a stamp at this point. I'm just kind of stamping in like the petals a little bit, because it's working pretty well in terms of giving me like this petal shape. So I'm pretty happy with how that's looking. So then I know what I want is to have a very loose kind of sky blue over here. I need to let this stuff dry a little bit before I do much more. I think maybe I can come in here and try and do like another layer of leaves. I really want like a lot of pigment load here is what I want. Because I want these guys to, yeah, there we go. There is a little bit of just kind of trial and error going on here, which is a little bit scary, seeing as I am going to put this online for everyone to see. But hopefully it will encourage others to try things out and play and, you know, see what they can make and kind of see what happens when they do different things, because worst comes to worst, you don't like it. And yeah, I know art supplies are expensive and it kind of sucks to use up your good art supplies and, you know, spend that money. But you're not going to get better unless you try. So, you know, it's one of those things where you gotta do some play just to kind of get a little bit better at this, because if you don't try, you're never going to succeed, first of all, but you're never going to get any better either. So, you know, get out your stuff, play with it. And I will say, I have not used a lot of different watercolor papers, but I did just do some playing with this, and this is the Canson XL watercolor paper pad, and now I'm playing with the Arches paper, and I am seeing a difference in terms of how the water and watercolor plays on the paper. So if you have watched much art YouTube, you will probably have seen other art YouTubers say that the paper makes a big difference, and it does seem to be the case, that the paper does seem to make a fairly big difference in terms of like what is going to happen when you do things. So if you can afford some nicer paper, it doesn't have to be Arches, because I know that that is very expensive, but if you can afford some 100% cotton watercolor paper and you are planning on doing a lot of watercolor, I would highly recommend trying to find some 100% cotton watercolor paper that you can afford and use that, because it is going to make a difference in your art. It's going to make a difference in terms of how everything behaves. So if you have practiced a bunch on non-cotton watercolor paper and then you move over to a cotton watercolor paper, it's not going to behave the same way, and it may be that you can't use the lessons that you have learned with the cheaper watercolor paper on your more expensive watercolor paper. So just kind of keep that in mind, that not all watercolor papers are created evenly. That is not dark enough. So kind of think about that when you're going to buy your papers, buy your supplies. You know, just know that it really does make a difference. And I'm sure you've heard it before that yes, the paper does make a difference, and it's kind of surprising how much of a difference it does make. So just kind of keep that in mind, that yeah, you know, if you've got a little extra money to spend, buy yourself some nicer paper over buying the nicer watercolors, because I think the watercolors do make a difference for sure, but it seems that the paper makes a huge difference. So, you know, just kind of think about that. I'm just doing little itty bitty leaves on here because this is kind of more like pretty early in the spring. In the reference photo that I have, there's not really any leaves on there, so I don't want to do like a lot of leaves because you're not going to see a lot, but I'm putting them on here because I just think it needs it compositionally. Just feel like this is going to just help a little bit in terms of making this look a little bit more real, if that makes any sense. Hopefully it does. And then I'm going to take this guy, this is a big old 1-inch filbert, and use that to just kind of get some nice wet areas over here so I can really kind of play and just let this sky do its thing. I'm not doing any particular shape, I'm just kind of trying to get a little color in over here, and I'll probably put a little bit down here as well because I think that would be really nice to just tie it all together. And I am never sure kind of how long to wait for the paper to kind of absorb some of that. I know it kind of depends on how much you want it to move around. So I'm just going to kind of toss some blue in here. And just kind of want to get a little bit of this color in here just to kind of give it a little background. And compositionally it needed something up here, so that's what some of this blue is doing for me. It's just kind of helping me fill in the composition a little bit. It's just, I don't know, it's needing a little something over here, and I'm not quite sure what that something is. Oh, I know what I should do. I know exactly what I should do. I am going to do some splatters. That is what I'm going to do, because I think this could really use a little liveliness. And I probably should have waited for that to dry before I did that. I'm going to dry it and put a few more splatters in, maybe some purple splatters, and then we'll see where we leave off. That helped a lot, I think. Okay, so now I'm going to go back and do some more splatters because I think that's going to make me happy. All right, let's give that a go. Let's give that a little dry time, and we'll see where we are. So I finished this first painting here, and overall I'm pretty happy with it. There are things that I would definitely do differently. I feel like The composition is lacking a little bit. The splatters, I went a little bit too heavy-handed with some of the splatters, so you can see lots of different splattered colors in the background, and that was just because I felt like it was needing something more, and I wasn't really sure what it was needing. And as I was looking at it, I thought, you know, it might be kind of cool to not do like the blue background like I first thought I wanted, and just do splatters first and then paint the flowers. So originally I wasn't going to do it. I was just like, yeah, that'd be cool. I couldn't resist the urge to come back down and try this painting again. I did not record it because I wasn't sure if it was going to turn out, and it was going to be the same thing as I did for this one, which I have the footage for. But I did start with splatters first, and then I did all of my petals on there afterwards. I did a darker color. I didn't do the blue background, and I used more of the shimmer gold. So I did like a shimmer gold splatter first, and then I put my flowers in place, and then I went back in with that shimmer gold and put it in places like in the middle of some of these guys, and then I decided to put some shimmery gold leaves here and there on the painting, which I think just really helped make the gold make more sense in terms of the painting. I like this one a lot better, partially because I really like kind of that purpley color, but I also think that overall this one just feels a little bit more successful. This one feels a little bit more amateurish. A lot of people, including myself, have this hesitancy to paint the same thing again, because it's like, well, I've already painted that, let me paint something else. I think there's a lot of benefit in painting the same thing a second time, because you really can kind of start to hone those skills and really play with some different things a little bit more and really see what those changes, like how they impact your painting. So yeah, so I painted this a second time. Like I said, I am much happier with the second one than the first one. Anyway, I hope you guys liked it. Tell me what you think. Do you like painting A or painting B better? Let me know below your thoughts. And yeah, I will see you guys again next week. By the way, don't forget, like and subscribe. Bye.